Today, we're diving straight into the mind of a man who literally structurally changed how we perceive the world. We interact with his creation every single day, usually without even thinking about it. But the story behind it all, it is nothing short of incredible. $334,100,000,000. Let that sink in for a second. That staggering number is Larry Page's estimated net worth as of today, May 20, 2026, which officially makes him the second wealthiest individual on Earth. It's just a level of wealth that is almost hard to comprehend. But what's really fascinating here is how this massive scale of power and wealth grew from the mind of an introverted Midwestern student who was simply trying to figure out a better way to organize links on the early internet. So let's flash back to the origins of this tech titan to understand exactly how a very unique childhood environment completely shaped his futuristic brain. Section 1. The genesis of Google. So, raised in Michigan by two computer science professors, Larry's world was steeped in innovation literally from day one. His childhood home was famously just a total mess of tech magazines and random computer parts. And get this, he actually mastered a first-generation XZD Sorcerer computer by the time he was 6 years old. That early foundation of curiosity led him to do some brilliantly creative things later on. Like while he was studying at the University of Michigan, he reverse-engineered a working inkjet printer completely out of Lego bricks just so he could print large posters cheaply. Well, that tinkerer's mindset obviously followed him right to Stanford's PhD program. In 1995, at a student orientation, he met Sergey Brin. Now, they actually clashed at first. They were both described as being a bit obnoxious and super argumentative, but they pretty quickly realized those intense debates made them intellectual soulmates. Together, in 1996, they created a project called Backrub that analyzed web links. It was so incredibly resource-heavy that it famously caused major problems for Stanford's campus network. By 1998, that little university project officially incorporated as Google Inc. Section 2. The billion-dollar algorithm. Okay, so the crucial point here is understanding the specific technical breakthrough that made their tool completely obliterate the competition. And this is the secret sauce: PageRank. While older search engines were just mindlessly counting how many times a keyword appeared on a page, Page and Brin realized that human beings actually leave clues about what they trust online. So they developed this recursive mathematical system that evaluated backlinks a lot like academic citations. Essentially, if a lot of important pages link to your page, then your page must be important. This absolutely brilliantly illustrates the shift in philosophy. Instead of just counting repetitive keywords, which, by the way, was super easy for early internet spammers to manipulate, Google actually mapped the web using real human behavior and trust signals. They weren't just searching text anymore, they were computing credibility. To fund this massive vision, they pitched Sun Microsystems co-founder Andy Bechtolsheim. He was so incredibly impressed that he wrote them a $100,000 check right on the spot. The funny thing? Google Inc. didn't even legally exist yet to cash it. So they had to rush to incorporate. They rented out Susan Wojcicki's Menlo Park garage for $1,700 a month, and they literally built their initial servers out of cheap, spare computer parts just to save money. Section 3. Forging a tech empire. Right, so with the technology proven and the initial funding secured, the next phase was aggressively scaling Google from just a popular search tool into an inescapable global infrastructure. Investors knew Page and Brin had a total gold mine, but they really wanted some experienced leadership. So in 2001, Eric Schmidt was brought in as CEO for what he jokingly called adult supervision. Under Schmidt, Google achieved a massive initial public offering in 2004, which turned Page into a billionaire at age 30. From there, Page championed some incredibly strategic acquisitions that aggressively expanded their reach well beyond just search. Consider the sheer scale of this strategic expansion. Page secretly led the acquisition of Android in 2005 for just $50 million. That's a move that eventually overtook Apple to completely dominate the global mobile operating system market. Then, just a year later, they bought YouTube for $1.65 billion in stock, effectively securing a monopoly on global user-generated video. These weren't just investments, you guys. They were absolute masterstrokes of ecosystem dominance. Section 4. The 10x mindset. Behind all of this rapid, explosive expansion was a very unique psychological framework that Page demanded from his entire company. He once said, if you're not doing some things that are crazy, then you're doing the wrong things. And that perfectly captures Page's 10x philosophy. He didn't want marginal 10% improvements. No way. He demanded his employees create products that were 10 times better than the competition. And when he was acquiring companies, he favored long-term, extreme usefulness over short-term financial gains. He actually called this the toothbrush test, meaning it had to be a product that people used once or twice a day to make their lives noticeably better. Interestingly, it's worth noticing the stark evolution in his own leadership style. Back in those gritty 1998 startup days, Page and Brin relied on really harsh, intense arguments to stress test their ideas. But when Page returned as CEO in 2011, replacing Eric Schmidt, his management style had totally evolved. He mandated a strict zero tolerance for fighting policy and formed this highly collaborative executive group called the L Team to seamlessly unify Google's huge, sprawling product lineup. Section 5, Monopolies and Moonshots. Having basically conquered search, mobile, and video, Page's ambition expanded far beyond software and straight into the physical reality of human existence itself. In 2015, recognizing that Google was doing way more than just internet searches, Page reorganized the entire corporate structure, creating a brand new parent holding company called Alphabet. This was a brilliant move because it allowed the core Google business to just run smoothly on its own, while Page, as Alphabet CEO, focused almost exclusively on these futuristic moonshots. We're talking ventures like Calico, which is literally trying to cure aging, Waymo, pioneering autonomous self-driving cars, Wing for drone delivery networks, and DeepMind for advanced artificial intelligence research. But you can't control the world's information without creating some friction. As their scale increased exponentially, so did intense public and governmental scrutiny. The company faced massive questions over data privacy, navigating these intense, anti-competitive patent lawsuits with rivals like Apple and Microsoft, and dealing with widespread accusations that they were maintaining an unprecedented and perhaps dangerous monopoly over global information. Perhaps distancing himself from those daily controversies and the intense glare of Washington, Page officially stepped down as Alphabet's CEO in 2019, handing the reins entirely over to Sundar Pichai. From there, Page shifted to a very detached, almost mythical board role. He essentially withdrew from public view altogether, reportedly spending his time amassing tropical private islands and recently purchasing a $173 million Miami compound, basically observing the very future he helped build, but from a safe distance. Section 6, Controlling the Future. Yet despite his physical absence from the public eye, Larry Page's early obsessions continue to relentlessly dictate our present reality. Fast forward to today, 2026. Google has fully repositioned itself as an AI-first company, deploying its massive Gemini AI models worldwide. And what's absolutely incredible about this is that it completely validates a prediction Larry Page made way back in the year 2000 during an interview, where he foresaw that artificial intelligence would be the ultimate and inevitable evolution of search. His vision from a quarter of a century ago is unfolding exactly as he said it would, right in front of us. Which brings us to the end of this explainer, and it leaves us with a pretty haunting question to consider. When one quiet, introverted engineer successfully organizes the world's information and builds the fundamental infrastructure of the modern digital age, does he ultimately end up elevating humanity with limitless access to knowledge, or does he inextricably control it? Thank you so much for joining us, and keep questioning the algorithms that shape your world.